Hello, I am here back with another color video. This time I'm doing purple. Just base purple. There's a bunch of variants of purple, but I'm just gonna read the base purple. So, purple. In The Color Purple, the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Alice Walker, the character Shug Avery seems at first like a superficial siren. She is, we are told, so stylish it like the trees all around the house, draw themselves up tall for a better look. Later, though, she reveals unexpected insightfulness, and it is Shug that supplies the novel's title. I think it pisses God off, Shug says, if you walk by the color purple in a field somewhere and don't notice it. For Shug, purple is evidence of God's glory and generosity. The belief that purple is special and signifies power is surprisingly widespread. Now it is seen as a secondary color, sandwiched in artists' color wheels between the primaries red and blue. Linguistically, too, it has often been subordinate to larger color categories, red, blue, or even black. Nor is purple per se part of the visible color spectrum, although violet, the very shortest spectral wavelength humans can see, is. The story of purple is bookended by two great dyes. In the first of these, Tyrian, which is one of the colors in here, a symbol of the wealthy and the elite, helped to establish the link up with the divine. The second, mauve, also in here, a man-made chemical wonder, ushered in the de-characterization of color in the 19th century. The precise shade of the ancient world's wonder dye remains something of a mystery. In fact, purple itself was a somewhat fluid term. In ancient Greece and Latin, words for the color purpurea and purpura, respectively, were also used to refer to deep crimson shades, like the color of blood. Lulapia, a 13th century Roman jurist, defined purpura as anything red other than things dyed with crocus or Cameron dyes. Pliny and Elder wrote that the best Tyrian cloth was tinged with black. Ugh, my hair. Even if no one is quite sure precisely what Tyrian purple looked like, though, the sources all agree that it was a color of power. While he griped about its odor, which hovered between rotting shellfish and garlic, Pliny had no doubts about its authority. This is the purple for which the Roman fasces, F-A-S-C-E-S, and axes clear away. It is a badge of noble youth. It distinguishes the senator from the knight. It is called in to appease the gods. It brightens every garment and shares with gold the glory of the triumph. For those reasons, we must pardon the mad desire for purple. Because of this mad desire and the expense of creating Tyrian, purple became the symbolic color of opulence. I love the word opulence. Symbolic color of opulence, excess, and rulers. To be born into the purple was to be born into royalty. After the Byzantine custom of bed-decking, don't know what that means, the royal birthing chambers with porphyrian, and Tyrian cloth, so that it would be the first thing the new princeling saw. The Roman poet Horace, in his Art of Poetry, written in 18 BC, minted the phrase, purple prose. Your opening shows great promise and yet flashy purple patches, as when describing a sacred grove or the altar of Diana. Purple's special status wasn't confirmed in the West. Confined to the West. Confined to the West. In Japan, deep purple murasaki, or kinjiki, or a forbidden color, off limits to ordinary people. In the 1980s, the Mexican government allowed a Japanese company, Purpura Imperial, to collect the local charcoal sea snails for kimono dyeing. Unsurprisingly, a similar Japanese species, Rapana bezora, is vanishingly rare. While the local Mixtec people, who had been using the coral for centuries, milked the snails of their purple, leaving them alive, Purpura Imperial's method was rather more fatal for the snails, and the population went into freefall. After years of lobbying, the contract was revoked. Like many special things, Purple has always been a greedy consumer of resources. Not only have billions of shellfish paid dearly to clothe the wealthy, sources of slow-growing lichens like Rossella tincteria, used to make archil, another color in here, have been overexploited, forcing people to look further afield or do without. Even mauve required vast quantities of rare produce. In the early stages of its it was so demanding of scarce rare raw materials that its creator, William Perkin, later admitted that the whole enterprise was close to being abandoned. Luckily for Perkin, his new dye became immensely fashionable, and the prospect of the fortunes to be made meant that an explosion of other... My dog's barking. I don't know why she's barking, but she's barking. I'm closing the door so I can finish the video. Luckily for Perkin, his new dye became immensely fashionable, and the prospect of the fortunes to be made meant that an explosion of other aniline colors followed swiftly on mauve's heels. Whether this was also good for purple is another matter. Suddenly, everyone had access to purple at a reasonable price, but they also had access to thousands of other colors too. Familiarity bred contempt, and purple became a color much like any other. So that is purple, just the basic purple. This is the best guess for the Tyrian purple that they talked about. This is the Archil. Magenta. Mauve. Mauve goes on for a bit. And heliotrope. I don't believe there's any other purples. Let me see. Oh, violet. The one that is on in the visible color spectrum easily and not confusingly. So that is my video about colors again. I might do a video about crocheting soon because I've started a blanket for one of my friend's kids because I kept putting it off because I'm good at this. But I finally started it. So yeah. Bye.